So what's up? There's a video here about Ruto and his government. He was at Al Jazeera. So I want us to hear to hear the interview here. We see what's up. So kindly like, subscribe, share, follow. Tell me what you think about all of this. The title is William Ruto is Kenya's democracy in safe hands. So Ruto alienda Al Jazeera manzi. Acha tusikie.
Always true.
Kenya is often seen as East Africa's anchor state and a nation once hailed a model of democratic stability.
I assume as President of Kenya.
3 years ago, President William Ruto rose to power on a wave of hope, calling himself a hustler, vowing to lift up ordinary Kenyans and unify a divided country. Today, that optimism has given way to outrage. Following a series of nationwide protests, critics accuse his government of meeting dissent with force, not dialogue. Dozens of people were killed in the latest crackdown. Human rights groups report abductions, disappearances, and a culture of impunity within the security forces. At the same time, the economy, though growing on paper, remains out of reach for millions of Kenyans struggling with inflation, high taxation, and widespread corruption. And across the region, Kenya faces accusations of overreach from its alleged involvement in Sudan's war to its leadership role in Haiti's troubled intervention. So where does that leave Ruto's promise of transformation and Kenya's standing as a solid democracy in East Africa? Kenyan President William Ruto talks to Al Jazeera. William Ruto, President of Kenya, thank you for talking to Al Jazeera. Now, the last time I spoke to you on this programme was just a couple of weeks after you assumed office. That was 3 years ago. A wave of enthusiasm from Kenyans with your election. You said you were going to unify the country. You were a consensus builder. Now, I look at the headlines now. I've seen some headlines saying you're the most unpopular president in Kenya. To be fair, I've not found polls to back that up. But if I do look at the polls, your popularity has slumped. Why?
It's the nature of politics. When you get into office, there is stuff to be done. You know, people's expectations are high. Many people expect things to happen immediately. But it takes time to fix up stuff. If you look at the 3 years I've been in office, I did make commitments to the people of Kenya, huge commitments, many pledges. And it is the basis upon which the expectations of the people of Kenya have been very high. Have I met those expectations? I can confidently tell you that on a scale of 1 to 10, I have done 8. And I've done 8, let me just give you a rundown of 3 or 4 or 5.
Maybe anasema amefix the economy manzi. Hapo nita disagree manzi.
Issues. Number 1, I have fixed the economy. Kenya is now listed as the 6th largest economy in Africa because of the steps I have taken. And our stock exchange was voted the best stock exchange in Africa. So we have fixed the economy. Number 2, we have fixed agriculture. Today, we have increased the production of maize by 50%, from 44 million bags every year to now close to 70 million bags last year. We have reformed the sugar sector. We are well on the way to being self-sufficient in sugar. Number 3, we have fixed the education system. The education system was in shambles. I've hired 100,000 more teachers, built 23,000 more classrooms, and rolled out a new student funding model that now has made all our universities sustainable. Number 4, I did promise that I would fix the health sector. We had 8 million people on social health insurance. Today we have 27.2 million people. We have improved services in hospitals. We are getting more medicine to hospital. We are getting more workers to hospital. We are getting more equipment to hospitals. And finally, the big elephant of unemployment. You know, Many young people voted for me because unemployment has never been fixed in Kenya. And for decades, the biggest problem we have is 5% of our population have no jobs. And as a result, we have millions of young people that get out of college, school, and universities that have no jobs. What have I done? 4 things. Number 1, I rolled out the largest infrastructure development in Kenya, targeting housing. We're now building 230,000 houses, hiring 600,000 young people, on to 1 million young people next year. We've rolled out a program on digital.
Mtu wangu sasa zile job ziko ni za mjei manze na za gava mtu wangu fuck. Kama kuna kazi zingine ni kunoma antagone but tunaendelea tusikie.
We've rolled out a program on digital jobs, expanding our fiber optic connectivity around the country, setting up ICT hubs, what we call Jazeera centers, business process outsourcing. Today we are hiring 180,000 young people in our digital job ecosystem. And number 3, export of labor. We have signed up bilateral labor agreements with many countries, Germany, Austria, this great country, Qatar, UAE, Saudi. And today, as I talk to you, 3 years on, 430,000 Kenyans are working outside Kenya because of the plan I've put in place.
You have presented a very comprehensive picture of what you say are your achievements. You talked a lot there about young people.
Correct.
But the young people don't all seem to share that rosy assessment of where things are. You've mentioned protests about food prices in 2023. There were protests again, large protests in 2024 and again this summer in 2025. Those protests in June spread, met with a most violent crackdown. 65 people died in the clashes. Was that mishandled?
There are many aspects of that protest. There are people who genuinely...
Ebu tell me where are those jobs? Ebu tell me in the comments are those government jobs. Ebu tuzione. For all those people who have got those government jobs, comment up or down below. And there you've got them. Tujue hata wenye wanasaidike bana. Kuna watu wengi kuinja bana wanatafuta hizo makazi za gava.
Are there to express their opinions, different opinions. But there are also criminal elements. People who come to burn down buildings, destroy properties, steal from all manner of places, supermarkets, and many of those. And the public itself, by the way, the public went up in arms because they said, these are not protests. This is looting. This is criminality. And we have had to balance. The police have had to balance between dealing with violent criminals on one end and also managing protests.
You didn't leave it to the police force, did you? You got directly involved. You told at one point police to shoot protesters in the legs. Surely live fire is not something that should be used in protests. Do you regret those comments?
I don't regret those comments at all, because the law allows the police to use force.
So my guy has been asked about the protests last year and this year. He's being asked why was he shooting at protesters. So he's supposed to, what do you think he's supposed to say? He's supposed to say people are supposed to be shot or not shot. But you tell me in the comments. But let me play.
And other people's lives are in danger.
Surely there are ways of doing that without using live ammunition.
That is according to you. I think the police know what they need to do. And the police, by the way, understand that it is within their purview. That is why when I came into office, I ensured that the police was independent. The police carried out their responsibilities independently.
So what do you think? Do you think the police should use live bullets with protesters, or just use peacekeeping methods? I think there are better ways of handling this, because there are so many lives that are going that are lost during protests. I believe there's a better way to do this, but I don't know. That's just my opinion. You tell me what you think in the comments. I'll truly appreciate.
Independent. You're telling the police to shoot protesters in the legs. That
But
sounds like
that-
you're ordering the police.
No, there is nowhere in the law that allows me to order the police.
The oldest newspaper in Kenya, The Standard, had on its front page Rogue Ruto. And you stopped live media coverage, or tried to, of these protests. Kenya's known for its freedom of media. It's one of the great beacons of free media in Kenya. People I've spoken to, young Kenyans, say they are worried now about censorship in your country.
I don't think so. I mean, you yourself just say tried, because it never happened. I mean, media is independent in Kenya. They write all manner of stuff. I think what you've just said, rogue, is one of the mildest. They say all manner of things about me. They say all manner of things about other people. I don't agree with what they write. I don't agree with what they say. But they have the right to say it, whichever way they want. They are also free to lie and to churn out falsehood. I mean, it's up to their conscience to write the right thing. But the people of Kenya ultimately will make an assessment of who has exceeded, who has not, who has done the right thing, who has not.
Let's look at some of the grievances of the protesters. This latest protest followed the death of a blogger who was a teacher who died in police custody. Initially the police said he'd hit his head on a cell wall. I mean, it was unacceptable for someone to die in police custody. It was unacceptable to have a cover-up, was it not?
That's correct. And that is why the police who are involved in that particular incident today are behind bars.
But is there a wider issue of police brutality in Kenya?
There is, we have a police force of 110,000. You will not miss elements within the police who are rogue. And as and when we identify the rogue ones, we deal with them. Like in this particular case, when it was discovered that what they told the country was not right, the correct investigations were done, and those who are involved have been brought to book. So we will continue to make sure that the police, of course, majority of the police, know what they are doing.
The other thing the protesters talk about is what human rights groups call enforced disappearances. 2024, it's reported more than 80 people, critics of the government, disappeared. You've got them?
I can tell you, none of those people. I have told them. I have told people who claim that so-and-so has disappeared to step forward and tell the country who are these, when were they abducted, and many of the stories that you hear are people who when you tell them to come out, they don't. They just want to make general statements. And I'm telling you, we are coming from a dangerous background where, forget about people disappearing, where bodies were recovered from all manner of places in the past. Today, there are no incidences of Kenyans that are executed. I committed to the country that I would stop it, and I did.
The other thing they complain about, the protesters, is corruption. What are you doing?
Absolutely everything. I did sign the law that prohibits public officers to participate in doing business with government, what we call the Conflict of Interest Bill. Now it is law. I did sign this into law 3 months ago. We have deployed additional resources to the Anti-Corruption Agency. We have deployed additional resources to the Director of Public Prosecution. We have hired more.
So manze, them boys anasema anafanya everything possible manze kuangusha corruption. I truly acknowledge that. Try. At least anajibu maswali. Hey, manze, you have to give them boys manze hats off kwa sababu kujibu na maswali anawaga na points.
More judges. I think I've hired the most judges than any president in 3 years to make sure that the criminal justice system, the judiciary, is properly enabled to deal with all manner of issues, especially corruption.
Now, the protesters are all young. They're the Gen Z. They are the people who led were the engine of your campaign. And you've lost a lot of those people who were fighting for you and believed you were the man to deliver change. Can you regain their trust, do you think?
They have since discovered that every commitment I made, including how to empower the young people, from education to creating jobs, to making sure that there is health, to making sure that we have food, I have kept my commitment. And the entire country today, many people will tell you, the debate is no longer whether William Ruto has delivered. That debate is closed.
Mr. President, I accept what you're saying, but it doesn't match the...
Okay, sijashika sasa hapo Loni anatafanyaje kuhusu corruption? Hebu niambie in the comments. Hapa ni kunoma manze. Hapo tusikie. Manze Dembo zako na points nazo ako nazo.
Polling of Kenyans. A recent poll said 62% of Kenyans feel the country is heading in the wrong direction.
Those are polls that, they are different polls by different pollsters. You yourself have said that you do not have the backing of any reasonable objective poll on these subjects. I will tell you, in the last election, the polls showed that I was never going to win the election. I won. So there is a world of a difference between what you see and what you get.
We talked about the economy, and that's one of the reasons protesters are unhappy, but certainly the official figures show that there is now sustained economic growth. You are here in Doha, where there's an important meeting that's been taking place about trying to reduce poverty and inequality. Do you feel that much has been achieved here?
Yes, I think the international solidarity around matters development, social development, education, health, social protection. You know, these are critical elements.